fuck the fake natty debate. If you engage in the fake natty debate, in my opinion, you're probably insecure. Good morning, YouTube. Well, it might not be the morning for you, but yeah, it's the morning here. It's 9 a.m. Not quite the start of the day, but I've been doing some things in the morning, and we're now filming. So we just filmed like some posing. I weighed myself, and I'm at 94.4 kilos. So that is basically peak off season. We're 9.5 months now into the off season. It is 22.5 kilos up from my stage weight at the Natural Olympia, and yeah, feeling really good at this point. With training flying, like training has been going amazing right now, so that is brilliant news. It's what we want, and now it's just a case of seeing how much longer we can go without getting too soft, because I can't get, if we kept going based on training, that's great, but so I was like, I don't know, 105 kilos, and my last stage weight was 72 kilos. There's a lot of dieting to do before prep, you know, so you got to think about that as well. So yeah, in terms of today's video, we're going to address something that's been pretty common right now on my Instagram, which is just loads of fake natty accusations. And I thought it would be a good chance just to talk about this topic and talk about the whole natty or not debate, talk about why I think people struggle to believe people can be natural, because it's something I feel really passionately about. It's something that I think potentially holds back natural bodybuilding because of all these people that don't believe in natural bodybuilding. So yeah, I think we'll get into that later on today. But before that, we're going to take you through, you know, the usual day. I've got pull today, so I've got deadlifts on the table, which will be good. But yeah, other than that, we'll just get into this day. And yeah, cheers for watching. Last week we were away, so yeah, 2 weeks between last video, but we're back to it now, so back to weekly uploads, and we'll keep that coming. There's actually, I admit, there's a couple of supplements right now that I need to get. I need to get omega-3 and vitamin D3. Glutathione, most importantly creatine. I used to do this intra, but when I was doing an intra, I realised that every rest day I'd forget, because obviously I don't have an intra. So I was taking creatine just on my training days, which is, it's not going to make a big difference, but it's not ideal. So I've got out of that routine, and now I just start doing it every morning, no matter what day it is, and then I never forget. So I spent the last week with mates abroad in Portugal, which was really fun. Definitely switching off a little bit, which was good. Like, you know, having a few drinks quite often, and like also not training as frequently. So I trained 3 times that week. I did an upper session instead of push and pull. I was meant to do push, and then I was just looking around. It was a lovely day. I was with my friends. It was like 5 p.m. I was like, I don't really want to do this. And also, like, body weight was down a little bit. So I thought it would be better to rest and go the next day and just do a longer upper session on the last day. And yeah, it was nice, to be honest. So, like, sometimes when you're away, it is good to train if you're going away often, but if it's occasional, definitely just, you can take a couple of days off. Like, it's not going to make much difference, and you know, life's to be enjoyed. So yeah, it was good. But yeah, this glutathione, it's a great flavour. It tastes really good. So this is what it is. I think a lot of people ask me about this. So glutathione max by Strom. If you go to Elite Sups, you can use my code PAL10. Grape, it tastes amazing. Even the lemonade tastes really good, but I think the grape's a little bit better. But yeah, I also went to the water park and I did legs straight after the water park, which wasn't ideal, but I was a bit like, oh, this is going to be a shit leg session, but you might surprise yourself. Like, it actually went really, really well. So it just shows, like, whilst as bodybuilders we're so heavily into our routine, and there is benefit to that for sure, like training at the same time, that routine is useful. Just sometimes don't worry too much, like, it'll be okay, and go into it with optimism, because, you know, I just went in there, I didn't expect too much, but because I guess it helped using different kit, because I wasn't too worried about it, but it was a very productive session. So yeah, 6 hours at a water park. I think I had my pre-workout meal like 3.5 hours before. But yeah, we got it done. We turned up, and you know, that's the most important thing when in those situations, is the consistency. And I think that's why I've got so far in bodybuilding in terms of across the last 10 years, well, almost 10 years, is because I've always been consistent with training. I haven't looked at reasons not to train. I've still got my training in pretty well. I still tick those boxes, and I haven't over-stressed about things not going well. I've just got it done. I've just enjoyed training. And that's the most simple thing, just be consistent. Right, so meal one is, this whey is actually really good. I was surprised. At the point now I am in the off season, to be enjoying whey like that is a good sign. But yeah, really, really good. For this stage in the off season, like I said, it's fluffy marshmallow, very nice. So yeah, first meal is still 50 grams of whey. I think it helps my appetite a lot, so I'm still doing it. I think, in my opinion, as long as your food doesn't go like, if you're not above 600 grams of carbs, or like 650 grams of carbs, you can probably do this still. I think when you go above that, you've got so many carbs, you probably have to have some carbs in your first meal, just because you're going to have like 200 carb and, yeah, like, well, we have a lot of carbs in all the other meals. So, yeah, and I do this way, and then every other meal after this will be carbs. So they're bigger meals because I'm doing that, but it's just giving myself longer through the morning to build up more hunger, to potentially just like make my blood glucose, you know, not get as high as early in the day. That gives my pancreas some time to, you know, sort of not be continuously working. So that's a benefit there as well. But then, yeah, by the time I eat, appetite's so much higher. So I think if you're struggling with appetite, guys, try this trick. You might think, oh, but then my next meal is going to be massive. But I promise you, if you make your pre and your post like big, you'll be fine. Those meals you can get so much food in my opinion. It's the other meals that sit around it. You know, your first meal when you wake up, it's your fourth meal, it's your last meal of the day. Those are the tough meals. So yeah, meal one, protein. So just gonna start coaching now. Basically, my routine always in the morning is check-ins, and then I'll train, I'll get back, I'll do more check-ins, and I'll do some programming. So that's how I kind of set up my days with work. Marley's now here, so yeah, I was going to work in my office, but he was asleep, and then I set up and now he gets up. So just going to make my intro. I have to use Ruby's drink container thing, because I don't know if you've ever done this, but literally I always rely on 1.5 litre bottles of water, and sometimes you'll go to make an intro and you're like, oh shit, I haven't got a bottle. So this is the biggest container I can find, and then I've got to have my pre, so I'm going to use this for this, and then I'll bring my pre and my normal shaker. Don't know how the hell have I only got like one shaker right now? How does that happen? How does a bodybuilder only have one shaker in their whole house? God knows, but yeah, so intro. CMP strawberry laces, I really like this flavour. I like CMP loaded EAAs, because it's got like enough in terms of amino acids, in my opinion. You don't need like crazy high profile, and it's pretty cheap, so sometimes I'll get a few flavours of these just because it's cheap and you can like alternate it, and then I'll get like one nicer EAA. But yeah, as usual, Elite Sups, PAL 10, and then one of my favourite supplements, as always, is Conte Sports Carb Drive. This is the unflavoured one. I'd always recommend, if you're getting a cyclodextrin, get it in unflavoured, because the EAAs are flavoured, so therefore if you have like a flavoured cyclodextrin and a flavoured EAA, you can get some weird combinations going on there, unless you kind of plan it out, but it's just a safer bet, and then you can taste the EAAs completely. So 28 grams of that. That's actually 31 grams, oops. Off season, don't matter. Look at me with this. That's the most least bodybuilder intra shake ever. Pre-workout as well. We are doing, I've got so many different pre's, but I just end up going with the same one every time, which is Defib Fizzy Cola. This is my favourite right now. Stack this with the Ride On Pump, which is very good. So for these, what the fuck? There's no scooper. Gonna have to use a spoon. Don't know where that went. Shit. That's a lot. Okay. It's almost 2 scoops. which is nearly 400 milligrams of caffeine. That's why you don't use a spoon. Fuck it. We've got deadlifts, we need it. Right, so we're off to the gym. Finally, I don't know if you saw my Instagram, but there was a pretty bad, I got in this car accident. Literally just this road that has had loads of accidents recently. It's like really dangerous. You go around the corner, you don't see, there's no give way sign, there's no sign there. And all of a sudden it's like a 50-mile-an-hour road, and all of a sudden you have to brake. And I edged out and got hit. So I've been at my family's for a while. So we finally got a new car and we're back at home, which is nice. And now I can drive to the gym again from here, which is nice to be back in that routine. So yeah, I'm enjoying the longer drives to the gym. I actually quite like just driving to the gym myself, listening to music and getting into the mood to train. It is nice. So yeah, we're gonna head off now and yeah, get to the gym for pull, which I'm really excited to do, in for deadlifts. And yeah, let's get it. So we're at the coach and yeah, in for pull today. So we just got here. We're gonna basically just show you some bits from the session really. I think sometimes people think that like, I'll post like a few exercises on my YouTube video or on Instagram and then people go, is that it? Is that all the volume you do? Like these are literally just highlights, like a few highlights from the session. So yeah, I don't show every set, otherwise the whole video would just be like a training video, and this isn't a training video, it's meant to be a vlog. So yeah, in for deadlifts, really excited to see what we can take. Last time I did deadlifts, I was away on holiday, completely different setup, pretty shit set. I got like 240 for free and then I just did a back off set because the first set was pretty shit, but the bar was so stiff. Very different setup. I was like playing five-a-side football with friends like earlier on before the session, so it wasn't optimal. So yeah, we'll see how this goes, but I'm excited for it. And yeah, very important session really. Like these are the sessions that matter the most in my opinion for my physique. So we'll get in, we'll see what we can do, and yeah, we'll show you some bits.
Let's go, come on! Yes, come on, let's go! Come on, come on!
So that set just shows like finer margins, because I added a set of glute bias, because I added a set in legs of hip thrust, doing 2 sets. It just took away from my ability to lock out on the hinge, and the 5th just moved slow and I fucked my brace before the 6th. But I thought it probably wasn't there, so my best on that is 6, but it just shows like those finer margins in terms of where you add volume in other sessions will take away from other areas. And I'd rather hinge more than do 2 sets of hip thrust. So next week I'll probably have to either take the hip thrust back down to 1 set, or I'll probably just keep it in and see if I adapt to it. But I'll probably pull it because I don't want to take that risk, because I don't want another shit set on hip thrust, on deadlift. So yeah, it just shows that tiny changes can make such a difference.
Time's ready, let me blaze. Spend money, what a waste. Time's money, money pays. You ain't ready for the 8th. She ain't ready for the 8th. Mad as savage, me back and I'm back and it happening, ready to blow. I remember doing easy dirty from the street, they left me on my own. Mom can't ask me about how I got the P, I told her leaving mama grown. Then they're ringing off my phone. Then they're ringing off my phone. Times change, but mine's made though. I ain't got line patience, tried then, don't like bait. Just come close, but swear that. Went close with the hair pack, never boast loud, get your bird whacked.
So the reason I just did a set of 180 there was because I haven't used this setup for a while. So I want to get back in the groove. And that first set was pretty shit.
So I want to get back into like just being confident on this platform. That set was like 4 RIR because I need to make sure I still recover into hacks. So I got some work done, but I know it's the right amount of stimulus. Because of that last 2 reps on the deadlift, which went terribly, I missed out on like some potential extra stimulus there, and I don't want to leave that on the table. But I don't want to overreach and then fuck myself with hacks and 2 sweeps. So that's why I did a very light 180 set. So we're back from the gym, post-workout meal, which is 150 grams of cereal and a bagel, jam, and then protein, like 50 grams of whey. But I haven't got to that part yet. So yeah, not the best session if I'm honest. Probably one of the probably one of the less good sessions I've had in a while. But I wasn't in this gym last time I ran this session. I was away in Portugal, so different kit, different deadlift setup. So that changing will change it a little bit. But then also like that extra set of hip thrusts just took away from the deadlifts, to be honest. But yeah, I know that like I'm now at this stage in the off season where I will probably not get the best sessions. Like I won't always see a progression because when you're this far into the off season, it's so slow in terms of body weight. And when you are that far with strength, like you've really pushed strength high, to take wins further every single week is difficult, you know? Yeah, I know that. Luckily, I know that. Like, I'm not gonna get pissed off too much about the session, but yeah, I'm sure next rotation, once I'm back into the groove on that kit and the coach, it will be a very good session. Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this post-workout meal, and then after we're going to get into the fake Natty accusations, and why people talk about not believing in natural bodybuilding, and why people think I might be on steroids. I think he wants my cereal. But yeah, the main topic of this conversation we'll get into. So, finally, we are going to talk about the main topic of this video. Something that, obviously, as you probably would expect, I'm pretty passionate about. Something that is becoming, I wouldn't say an issue, because I don't really see it as an issue, just something that I'm recognising more so right now with myself, in terms of being in the sport, getting a bit more attention on social media. There's undoubtedly going to lead to this issue in which, it's like the fake Natty accusations, like people that are really, really passionate about calling out naturals, saying that they are on drugs, that they do it to fuel their ego, that they're lying, that it's just an unrealistic representation of where you can take your physique. And in my opinion, like, all I see that as is, now for myself, it's a compliment. Like, obviously, if people are saying this, like, they're trying to jab at you, they're trying to annoy you, right? They're trying to comment on your stuff, and they're literally trying to make me think, like, damn it, he knows I'm not natural, but I am natural. So it's really ironic and quite funny, to be honest, because I'm sat there thinking, well, I literally am natural, so you just look like a bit of an idiot. But it's frustrating because I feel like this issue holds back the sport so much. I feel like because there's so many people that don't believe where you can take your physique naturally, all it leads to is people just calling out people and thinking that the industry is just full of like cheaters, and it holds back the sport. People love assisted bodybuilding, like, it's huge, right? Think about Chris Bumstead, all those people, how many followers they have. And the natural areas is definitely, there's like a limitation there, and this is the big limitation. And it comes down to this clear thing. The way I perceive it is, if you take steroids and you don't have that good of a physique and you're a man, like, men are quite competitive, right? And especially when it comes to do with strength and like being strong in your physique development, because of like societal norms behind like what makes a man manly is like to be big or strong. So say you're that person that thinks that to be a man I have to be strong, which isn't the case at all in my opinion. But say you feel like that's the case, you take steroids, and then you see these people that say they're natural and they look way better than them, then that's just really playing on their insecurities for them to think there's no chance, that can't be possible. I'm trying so hard here and I'm not building muscle, I'm taking loads of steroids, I'm risking my health. But these guys are like, they look better than me as a natural, how is that possible? So that's where it comes from, in my opinion. I think the majority of people that call someone out as a fake natty will always have a physique worse than them. They will probably be on steroids, and they will have some sort of insecurity behind like the fact that they can't stick at things enough. They know that they're slipping things up, but they're not able to admit to it, or they just don't have the genetics as good as other people. And that kind of gets me to like one of the main points of this is like, when it comes to, I don't know, sprinting. Let's take sprinting for example. Let's take Usain Bolt. Okay, he runs 100 meters in 9.6 seconds. No one who is taking steroids then goes, oh, he has to be on steroids because I'm doing it, but he runs it like in 9 seconds. How's he doing that? It's the same thing with building muscle. It's like genetics make you like that. So like no one's going to do that with sprinting because it's not in society to be fast. People don't go, how quick do you run? Like when they see you, they don't, whereas people go, oh, how much do you bench? Stuff like that. So yeah, that's why in other sports people don't look at it, whereas in building muscle, everyone's like, nope, that's not possible, and they just shut it down. And yeah, I believe if people could stop seeing that, then yeah, us naturals would have much more recognition and respect in the industry, because it takes time. And I think those naturals that have an amazing physique to the point where it does look like they're assisted and they are better than assisted people, that's so admirable because they've done it without risking their health. It's taken so much more time to get there, because it does take a lot of time as well. So yeah, it is a shame, and I think it comes from like how big the industry is with steroids. So yeah, something else I wanted to say as well is like, people who are the best in the world at natural bodybuilding are going to look good. Like when people think, oh, you can't be natural, I'm thinking, well, who is? I literally won the Natural Olympia. Then like, what would you deem like and the best natural in the world then? Like what, they just have to look pretty average? Because there's people way better than me that are natural,
So what? You have to look pretty like awful to be deemed as natural and the best natural in the world, legitimately. That's not the case. And yeah, I mean, the testing is big. Like I've known people, they get like serious polygraph tests in the industry. I'm sure now I'm going to have polygraph testing. All my testing has been like urinalysis, so urine tests. But like I was tested at the UKFPA finals, and my testosterone was like 7, which is so low, like no sex drive. And if I was doing that on steroids, my look would look so much smaller at the finals than when I was on steroids before. People would recognise it, There's so many clear indications of it. So yeah, I think with time, people are starting to realise where you can go naturally, but it will take time. And I think, with Natural Bodybuilding Worldwide, I mean, check out that website. There's so much valuable information that makes you realise how far you can take your physique naturally. And I'm hoping, like, as the industry grows, people start to realise how far you can take your physique without drugs. It just takes time. I remember my first ever show, I went to the BNBF qualifier. I met this guy with a crazy, crazy physique. Like, he won everything. And I said to him, how long have you been training? And I think he said he'd been training, like, 16 years or something. And when he said that was it for me. That was the moment I realised, wow, like, it makes sense. Because I knew my progress across the first year or two. I was like, imagine doing this for another, like, 14 years. So the truth is, it takes time. And you just got to stick at it. And the more that we can just push natural bodybuilding, and I'm hoping people will realise that there aren't as many fake natties as we think. Yes, there's going to be some people that do that, but they probably don't have that good a physique. The people with really good physiques, if they weren't natural, they would just compete in the IFBB. Like, if I wasn't natural, I would still compete in the IFBB. I think I could do okay in the IFBB, So, yeah, and funny enough, the people that got called out at the Natural Olympia for taking drugs, they all looked pretty awful. I think that says a lot. So, yeah, fuck the fake natty debate. If you engage in the fake natty debate, in my opinion, you're probably insecure. All this natty or not on YouTube, I'm not here for it. I think it's toxic. I think people just have way too much time on their hands. I think, like, if you're taking steroids and you're like, oh, yeah, he can't be natty, like, you've got too much time in your hands. Like, you need to just stop that stuff, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm probably going to have to be dealing with a lot of these comments in the future, because I tell you now, like, my physique at the Natural Olympia to the future is going to improve a lot. And probably a lot more people are going to say stuff, but it's part of the process. I enjoy it. Let's just make more people disbelieve in the process, I guess, which is a shame. I don't want to say that because I don't want that to happen, but yeah, hopefully things will improve. But yeah, that's it really with this video. I hope you enjoyed the daily vlog and showing you through my pool session and then this topic. We're going to cover more topics in the future. If anyone has any good ideas or some fun videos, I think I'm going to do some videos where, like, I go rock climbing peak off season. I'm going to use the peak off season card a bit and see if I can do some funny videos where I'm just out of breath and dying. Maybe like swapping sports with a cyclist or something. That'd be funny. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll catch you in the next video. See you soon.